I'm Deb Wallace, and I'm the Executive Director of Knowledge and Library Services here at HBS, and wanted to add my welcome to Alice. I'm not the brains behind the outfit. These guys are the ones that you're really going to want to spend some time with. But I wanted to welcome you here and to also just tell you a little bit about some of the treasures that are at Harvard. And while you've probably found already in this amazing space quite a treasure trove, the Harvard libraries are rated some of the best libraries in the world. And I thought, well, how could I make that meaningful or tangible to you? And I thought, this morning, the Harvard Gazette, if anyone saw it, has an article on a very rare book that's being displayed at the Houghton Library, which is our library for rare books and manuscripts. And it's a really interesting treasure because, you know, it's like one of those unsung heroes. It's really ugly, and it's not very big, and it's got a lot of mistakes in it. But did anyone read the article about it today, or there was an article in the Times on it on the weekend too? Does anybody have an idea? It's the very first printed book in the English-speaking United States. Oh, it wasn't really the United States yet then, because it was 1640. Does anybody have an idea of what kind of dollar value might be placed on? This is Antiques Roadshow. How much do you think this might be? There are 11 extant copies. That means there's 11 copies existing in the world. 1,700 were printed. 100,000? They think it will go somewhere between $15 and $30 million. Wow. Wow. And if you think about this, this might be like your idea. It's a scruffy little thing that started out in a back, dimly lit print shop using bits and pieces of a printing press that was brought over from England. Didn't work all that well. A lot of the type was already worn off. So think about almost 375 years later, your idea might be worth $30 million. So what I wanted to do is tell you this little story because A, it's kind of fun, and you know we're librarians, so we love books. And this is one of the treasures of Harvard that I really encourage you to spend some time looking at. But really, I wanted to tell you this story for 3 reasons. First of all, I hope your idea is worth $30 million sooner than 375 years. So that's number one. Number 2 is how this ugly little thing that is actually, you know, if it stands up next to a Gutenberg Bible, which we also have copies, or a full 2-volume set that you can go see in Widener, which is a beautifully illuminated manuscript of hand painting, and it's absolutely stunning. So if we think about these incredible treasures, this ugly little idea back 375 years ago is now one of the most sought after books in the world. So I hope your idea is that. And thirdly, Harvard is full, its libraries are full of amazing treasures, but actually these are the least kind of treasures. And the best treasure that I'd like you to uncover are the people who are sitting over here, the librarians, because these people are the most amazing detectives. They're going to be able to hunt and scrape and scrap and put things together for you like you would never have been able to do on your own. So they are the real secret treasure of Harvard. So before you leave tonight, make sure you have their card, their name, the back of the bookmark, whatever it is you take, because they're really your secret weapon. So I don't want to take any more time from them so that they can peel back some of the other treasures, but I thought I'd start with this little treasure and encourage you. It is going to be on display. We have, I said, one of the only 11 copies left in the world. And it's at the Houghton Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesdays up until I think it's December 14th, 15th, 9 to 5. So pop in and have a look at it. And if you have a chance to go to Widener, walk up the stairs back into the Widener Memorial Room, and you'll see the Gutenberg Bible standing there. So enjoy.
So I wanted to also thank you for coming out on this very cold, windy night. My name is Meghan Dolan. I work over at the Baker Library at Harvard Business School. I wanted to take just a minute to introduce my colleagues who will also be presenting tonight. David Osterber from the Countway Medical Library, Sarah Dickinson from Graduate School of Design, Ramona Islam for the Faculty of Arts and Sciences, Kristen Koob in the back row from Harvard Kennedy School, and Mindy Kent from the Law Library. We do have some bookmarks up here that we've made for you. It has some statistics on the front about the Harvard Library collections, and it also has our contact information on the back. So just feel free to grab one of these on your way out this evening. Some of the statistics that I thought were most empowering, I guess, are the number of research questions that we answer every year. So through the Harvard Library system, we answer over 130,000 questions a year, and that's about 922 staff members within the Harvard Library system and 79 libraries. So we like to think of it as an ecosystem of living and breathing physical people, places, physical and remote resources, print materials, and databases. So it's an incredible amount of information, and our goal here tonight is to, when you walk away, to know that there are people here to answer your specific questions at any of the libraries here on campus, and also just to give you an overview of our collections. We're all going to take about 5 to 10 minutes to go through our websites and tell you more about our collections to support your work. But again, we're here throughout the year, and we're happy to help you answer questions, whether it's an email question, via phone, or a research consultation if you want to set up a time to meet with us, just one-on-one to talk about your specific questions. We're here to help you with that as well. So I'm going to start with the Baker website. And this is our main website. Our email address, our website address is library.hbs.edu. And there are just 3 things that I'm going to point out that I think are probably going to be the most important to you as you begin your research process. The first is, sure.
I was wondering, as a student at Harvard, can they access all the library databases that you're talking about?
There are some restrictions, some of the libraries, and we'll each talk about any restrictions that we have in our libraries. Your ID card will get you physically into any of the libraries at Harvard. So whether it's a swipe access or tap access, you do have physical access to the libraries. For our databases list, there is a list of A to Z. And you'll see there's a column that says access. Anything that says HU PIN, you'll have remote access to with your Harvard University PIN. Anything that says authorized Baker visitor, as long as you're physically in the Baker Library, you'll have access to that material. So if you're looking for analyst reports, the only places to get them if you're not an HBS student is when you're physically in the library. We also have databases by subject. So if you know that you need specific, or you're looking for specific databases for energy or for, I don't know, the chemical industry, medical devices, pharma, just going to this list and seeing what we have available is a good starting point. And then a couple of other things to show you. We have something we call fast answers. So they're frequently asked questions. Questions that we receive throughout the year we'll anonymize and put up into our fast answer database. One of the top questions we're receiving these days is people wanting to identify the fastest growing companies within specific geographic regions. So it shows the question at the top, and then in the center of the page, it shows the best databases to use for that question, and it tells you step by step how to get to the information you need within each database. One other thing I want to quickly show you is our research guides. So in the center of the page, you'll see the link to research guides. They're identified by topic and by subject. So if you were doing something in medical devices, we've grouped the resources into the most common topics that we're asked about. So people wanting drug pipeline data, medical device pipeline, the best databases in our collection. For the medical devices, for pharma, for biotech, some of the best resources out there are the freely available ones. So it's not even something that's in our collection, it's something that's published by an NGO or a governmental organization of some sort. And so those are all listed here. And then the most important thing I want to show you on our website is our contact information. So it'll push you to the Fast Answers page or the Frequently Asked Questions. And then on the right-hand side, you'll see information services, our telephone number, our email address, and how to request a research consultation. So we meet with students from across the university for questions specific to their business plans, their courses, any independent projects that they're working on. And we're happy to meet with anyone here tonight. And I'm going to hand it off to my colleague Sarah from Graduate School Design. She'll tell you a little bit about her collection. If there are any questions about what you're seeing or hearing from us tonight, please feel free to stop us at any point. But we're going to save the end of the session for Q&A as well. So anytime, just ask us questions. Thank you.
Hi, so I'm Sarah Dickinson. I'm, what's my current title? Research Support Services at the Graduate School of Design. Do I have any Graduate School of Design students here? Because there was just an announcement of the Dean's Design Challenge, which is going to be a really interesting project. So when I first saw this announcement, I thought, well, is design really relevant to the President's Challenge? But when I looked at the topics and realized urban heat island, healthy cities, climate, cities dealing with climate change, all of those are topics that are being studied right now at the GSD in studios, in students' thesis. So we're helping students with topics that really intersect with the President's Challenge this year. So just as you were building connections across the student groups here and making partners for your research, we're building connections from our collections and our individual libraries to other collections across the campus. So the design is one of those connector pieces. So let me go to our homepage. So just as you saw in the business school, we have put together for our community research guides supporting the study at the school, lists of databases that our students use most. So even though this is your launch page, the places you're going to want to go will be specifically the research guides. Come on. So we have guides for the individual topics that the school has studies, but also if you scroll down, so from the whole buffet of Harvard's licensed resources, we have pulled out the ones that are used by the design school the most. And some that you guys might find relevant include the Green File, Environment Index. And one of the tips that I just want to pass on is to think about one of your particular concerns is going to be current awareness. So think about taking advantage of the alerting services that are available in different databases. It's one of those things that's available in Web of Science that can keep you informed of references to particular articles that you find relevant, so you'll know what's coming currently. To think about tools that you can use to share your research. So if you're building teams of people doing research, think about the file sharing options with RefWorks. I'm sure Zotero has that option as well. So think about these things that are designed to support individual research, but that can also support your work as a team. All of our pages have links to our Ask a Librarian site, which is, again, similar to the business schools. Fast Answers, that's where you can submit questions to us. And know that if you start with any one of us, we can help connect you with other resources within the Harvard Library. So if we, in fact, find that you may be better off with a research consultation with Kennedy, we can redirect you to the appropriate library. So start with any of us as your kind of home library. Did you have a question?
So when we submit a question, how quickly do you guys get that?
So we have people covering it every day, so I can't promise that over Thanksgiving, if you send a question on Thanksgiving Day, that you're going to get an answer. But we usually get back with you within that same day. And we have a great system Harvard-wide, and in fact, I'll show you at the very top of the page, one of the things that's new this year is all of the Harvard research guides are now findable on this main research guide page. This just went live, I think, this summer, wasn't it? So this is where, instead of having to go to each individual's library's research guide page, you can now come to this main Harvard Library page and see these guides by broad subject. We've got course guides, we've got how-to guides, and then again a presentation of the guides by the individual libraries. So think about this place as your other landing page. Yeah.
Is there a way to see which database is available for these school students? You said that some of them are just physically available, but not maybe online. For example, as an HBS student, can I just log into everything and then see?
Well, again, it will depend. Each library, for example, design school, we have, I think, 2 databases that are password protected, which nobody likes, so we manage that locally. I think each library, we all have made presentations of the different databases available.
So in your database, how do I differentiate how it's
All of ours, we'll have a note if there's a separate password. So unless otherwise indicated, they're all accessed by Harvard ID and PIN. So if you have people who are outside of the Harvard University system as partners, I believe they would have to be using the library computers within the Harvard Library to get at those licensed resources. So it's either Harvard ID and PIN or physically located within the library. And remember that your accounts, RefWorks, et cetera, can work with whatever database, and if you're researching at another institution as well, you can save your work into your Harvard RefWorks account. So use Ask a Librarian, visit our homepage, and next time I'm gonna curse this lefty mouse. Any more questions before we pass on to, who's next? Ramona. Great. Don't be a stranger with design.
Good evening, everybody. So I'm Ramona Islam. I'm a curricular design librarian and research librarian at Widener Library, which is part of the Faculty of Arts and Sciences library system. I'm going to go to that webpage now. We currently have our webpage listed under hcl.harvard.edu. That stands for the Harvard College Library, and HCL serves Harvard College, so all of the undergraduate students are served by that. But we also serve the Graduate School of Arts and Sciences, which is part of the Faculty of Arts and Sciences, and also the Extension School. And we have several libraries. So unlike the other schools represented here, we are focused on different disciplines, but not necessarily specific professions. I mean, it's more like the sciences in general, and part of the sciences. We have a chemistry library. We have a fine arts library, the Fung Library of Government and International Studies, the Harvard Film Archive, the Harvard Map Collection, which is inside of Lamont Library, our Yenching Library, Houghton, Lamont, Loeb Music, Physics, Tauser for Anthropology, and Widener being the largest library serving primarily social sciences and humanities. So you'll find our collections in the Harvard College Library especially useful, probably for providing contextual and background information, but not only that. I'd like to point out that the Lamont Library has a terrific collection of government documents that may be useful to you. And yeah, that one being in particular something you may not have anticipated in our collections. And it is available to the public and, of course, to you as students here. I also, oops. All right. Under research as well, we have Ask a Librarian, just like all of the other libraries, and it actually goes we're all part of that same system, and the first people who are going to see your question are actually the people in the Harvard College Library. One of our jobs is to forward the questions like that come from design or that are going to medicine directly to those librarians, and we answer questions that don't necessarily fall into those categories. And as you've heard, it's only one day generally. If it comes in at night, it might not be till the next day, but otherwise. You should also be aware that we have research contacts and library liaisons, so this is a good way to find out which librarian might be particularly useful for your project. And you can scroll down this list, and they're listed by disciplines that characterize the curriculum in the Harvard College and the Graduate School of Arts and Sciences. So if you were studying something to do with, let's see, well, if biology is related to your project, for example, you know that you could go to Dorothy Barr or Connie Rinaldo here, and their email addresses are provided for you. And you can do that for a range of subjects. If you're dealing with Earth, let's see, the environment, I forget what I put that under. Okay. Yeah, environmental studies. George Clark will be particularly useful. So if your innovation is related to that, you can contact George. Okay, so and anyway, that's the gist of that. And finally, I should also point out that we too have research guides. You can get to the guides from the general portal, which you've already seen, but you should also be aware that we have them listed on our own page. And it just looks a little different. Actually, we're working on this interface, so it will be a little more friendly, but you can see how you can browse by topic, or you could search the guides by keyword. So, for example, if you wanted to know about statistics, that's a very broad search for this guide, but you could do that. And you could see, for example, UNESCO documents, Guide to Food and Agriculture documents, and so forth. So let me know if you have any questions, and otherwise I'll pass it on to my next colleague.
My name's Mindy Kent. I'm here from the law school. So I'm going to be showing you some things that are going to look pretty similar to what you've already seen. Including fighting with the mouse. So we've got our Ask a Librarian link here. This is going to take you to the same sort of knowledge base, but this is going to be more focused towards legal research. We have also selected certain databases that are specifically of interest to our community under Find a Database. And we've also collected our guides and some key databases under Research a Topic. So if there are specific legal topics that you're interested in, this is also a particularly useful place to start. A couple of things to know about our collection. We are, of course, focused on collecting the law, both of the US and of the wider world. We serve the JD students, but also our LLM and SJD graduate programs, which means that we do have an extensive collection of both foreign and international laws. And on our staff of librarians, we have experts in foreign comparative and international law. So if you are doing a topic that has an international legal aspect, we do have experts who can help you. Our databases are, like everyone else's, a mix of the ones that you can access via your Harvard ID and PIN, and some that are specific to the law school. You can come and use those on the law school campus. One that we're sort of pleased to let people know about, if you've done legal research or have tried to do legal research, Westlaw is usually a proprietary database that's only provided to students of the law school, but we do now have a public terminal. So if you are doing classic legal research, you can come onto campus and we'll be happy to show you how to do it. And it's located right near our reference desk. One of the most important things, though, that I would emphasize in the same way that all my colleagues have been emphasizing it, if you come to our Ask a Librarian page and click on it correctly, we have multiple ways that you can get in touch with us. We do offer chat reference during our open reference time, so even if you can't make it over to our campus, if you have law or law-related questions, that can include things like intellectual property questions or some of the, various regulatory questions. We're happy to help out. You can always come to this page and we can chat with you. You can also set up research consultations. We're always happy to sit down. Your request will come in to me and I'll match you up with somebody who has some expertise in the area that you're researching. We also offer training classes on particular databases and tools, so you're always free to drop in on those. Those are open to the wider community. So does anyone have any question about law, legal research? Well, hopefully when you do, yes.
Is there a limit on how much time you can use the public terminal on Nexus Lexis?
So we don't have so we have the Westlaw public terminal. We don't have a Lexis public terminal. But the Lexis materials are available actually to everybody through Lexis Academic, the legal piece of it. For the Westlaw terminal, we don't have a time limit. It's just first come, first serve. Does that answer your question?
He's already using that one terminal. Is that like a sign-up sheet or?
No. So far, we haven't had so much demand that that's been an issue. Certainly, if it becomes an issue, it would be something we'd look into. But people have been pretty willing to share, self-regulate, go take a lunch break. It's actually been kind of heartening to see. So, any other questions? All right, thank you.
Good evening. I'm coming over from the Kennedy School of Government Library. So are there any Kennedy School students here tonight? No? Well, our library is located just across the bridge on 79 JFK Street. We're in the La Tower building on the ground floor, right below the John F. Kennedy Jr. Forum. So has anyone been to a forum event? Yes, so we're right there. So there's always something interesting going on, and we welcome you to come over and use our resources. So let me go to our page. And I am one of 3 research librarians. I'm a very new librarian there. And we have a staff of 5 total professional librarians. And we have the Ask Us button as well, that how you can reach us. So you can ask your question directly, we'll get back to you. You can schedule an appointment, call us. We also have my 2 colleagues, Keely Vilcek and Valerie Weiss. They have offices right in the library, and they do accept drop-in appointments, and I have my office there as well. So you're welcome to stop in, and we do encourage you to schedule an appointment so that you can, get the most out of your time. Going back to our home page. So tonight, I wanted to highlight our research guides, just like everyone else, and they're viewable from that page where all of the guides are accessible, and then also from our home page here under Research Guides. So we have a very experienced staff who support a wide range of courses and programs concerned with some of the same global issues that concern you for your projects. So we're happy to help you. I just wanted to show a couple of our guides. The Environmental Policy Guide. So as you can see, they're good starting points. And we don't have any databases that you can't access at the Kennedy School. And the resources in our guides that you'll need your Harvard ID and PIN for have the shield next to them, and the free resources don't. And we also highlight several publications that are specific to Harvard. So there's a lot of important research going on at Harvard. So for instance, in this guide, the Harvard Project on International Climate Agreement working papers is linked to in the guide. So I just wanted to show you that quickly. And Robert Stowe, who manages that project, he has created a public library on Zotero for some of the research that he's conducted. So are any of you using Zotero? Yes? So the nice thing about Zotero is once you collect your research. You can create group libraries, so if you're working on a group project, you can share those resources together, and then you can also share them with the public. So he has created, he has a profile, and he has several group libraries, and you can search groups. Oops. On the website. So I'm just going to search for him. And you can also search topics, so you can see if other groups have put their research up for a topic that you're working on. So here is his profile, and then here under groups you can see some of the group libraries that it's like a bibliography, the research that they've put together, and you can take a look at that. So we have, we work a lot with students and researchers setting up Zotero accounts, putting together group libraries. We give workshops, and we're happy to work with you one-on-one, and that's actually one of our guides. So it's at the very bottom of our guides, Zotero at HKS, and it's an extensive guide to help you get started and answer a lot of questions that might come up there. I also just want to show you another one of our guides, the International Development Guide. So you'll see these different tabs in the guides, and a lot of our guides, because people are using a lot of data, statistics in their research, you'll see in each guide a tab that includes links to the sources where you can get that data that you're looking for. And we're always, more than willing to help you find what you're looking for. And then finally, I just wanted to highlight our think tank search. So our team is really good at finding gray literature, so we have created a think tank search to help other students and organizations do the same. So if you go to the think tank search, you can search across over 400 organizations, and we have them listed as either US or non-US, and we, at one point we had them kind of listed as partisan, nonpartisan, but we've kind of given that up. So you can come here. It's our most popular guide, and it's linked to at libraries throughout the world. So we encourage you to use the think tank search. And again, just back on our homepage, ask us anytime. We also tweet at HKS Library. So if you look at our Twitter feed, you can really see how multidisciplinary we are. Today, we tweeted about 2 completely different books. We tweet new research that's coming out. I know today I scheduled a tweet for the PISA report that's coming out next week, which is the Program for International Student Assessment. So we try to, if you follow us, you'll find these OECD reports, all this great research that's coming out that may be interesting to you. So if you follow us, you will be connected with that. So we encourage you to come over, and we look forward to working with you.
Hi, everybody. My name's David Osterber, and I'm from the Countway Library at the medical school. So this is our website. A couple of people have talked to you about using tools like Zotero or RefWorks or EndNote. I highly encourage you to use those tools because they're great organizers of research. When you are gathering the literature that you're going to use for writing or for referencing for your own research, these tools will really put it together and help you not only organize it, but when you are writing, they will build the bibliography for you for your proposals. It will save you a ton of time. And that's actually, I think, one of the main jobs of librarians is to save you time. So one of the things that I always tell people is, if you are searching for a piece of information, don't spend more than 15 minutes. If it takes you longer than that, get in touch with a librarian. Give us a call. If the library is open, write to ask a librarian. If it's not, because we'll be back within 24 hours if you email us, and we'll be able to answer your question probably right on the phone if you call us. So don't spend a lot of time looking for pieces of information, because we can tell you at least the best places to look for it if we don't actually know exactly what piece of information you want. So, like everybody says, librarians are the best resource in the Harvard libraries. One of the things that we do at the Countway Library is, just like some of the other libraries, we pull in all the resources that are related to medicine, and we put them into what we call MyDL, so we can just keep them there. So if you come to our website and log in, and you can use this whether you're at the medical school or not. So here's the latest table of contents from the journals that I read on a regular basis. And I've got, these are the journals I read on a regular basis. And then up here under my feeds is the ability to choose the RSS feed that gives you the current table of contents. So if there's things you read regularly that are associated with some kind of science, it's probably in our database here, and you can just keep them there, not have to go out and search for them again. They're right there, and you'll get updated on a regular basis there. A couple of other resources. So Kristen actually talked about that you can put things up and share with the public. I want to caution you a little bit about that, because you can't just put papers that we provide through the libraries, because we license those. And if you put those up for the public, you'll be asked to take them down by the publishers if they find out. We just had a little over 100 faculty members asked to take their papers down from their websites because they had signed copyright over to the publishers. So even faculty members can't put their own papers up on their own websites because the copyright's gone. So one of the things that librarians really push is open access, so that you and your colleagues can, and people around the world can gain knowledge from what's being published. Faculty members all over the world give their papers to these publishers for free, and then they sign over the copyright. And so it no longer belongs to us. We have to buy it back from them. So we give it to them for free. We review it. We make comments on it, improve the papers, and then they do a bit of copy editing and sell it back to us for a huge amount of money. I would strongly encourage you to use open access and push for all the people around you to publish in open access if you have a chance. It costs some extra money to publish in open access, but it's for the common good. It gives that knowledge to everyone in the world instead of being hidden behind.
Something about that is usually it's considered that the level or the quality of the journal is much less. I mean, they always, like, they send us requests to publish there. But then it's considered if you publish there, like, much less in terms of quality, right?
Yeah, so if you look at the rate of retraction from journals, the rate of retraction there's a direct correlation between impact factor and rate of retraction. So the higher the impact factor, the higher the rate of retraction from the journal. So again, you can't judge science based on the publisher, based on the journal it's in. You have to judge it based on the content of the paper. And so whatever journal it's in, It shouldn't matter. It should be based on the science that's in the paper. So if we stopped paying so much to buy into their prestige, it would make it a lot cheaper for everyone, and everyone would have access. It's a perfect world. Other things that we do, we teach a lot of classes. We can help you with the statistical analysis. We also teach classes on statistics. You can see, here's our list of classes that we teach. Oops. So we teach about, well, you can see they're very popular classes. So we put them up and allow people to sign in for them. Some of the classes are closed because they're full. So, but any of these subject areas, if you have specific questions or need consultation, we can teach you how to use some of these databases that are mentioned here and the ability to do statistical analysis of results in a consultation. So we're capable of doing that. I have a PhD in genetics, and two of my colleagues have PhDs, one in crystallography and one in molecular biology. So we know these areas very well, and we're also librarians, and so we know how to search for this information. So we can talk to you about it. Most librarians have higher degrees than even just their master's degree in library science. So there's quite a number of librarians at Harvard who have PhDs in different subject areas and also multiple master's degrees. I have 2 master's degrees and a PhD. So if you've ever seen the movie The Librarian, it's true. The librarian in the movie has 36 PhDs, and you know it's. But it's part of being a librarian. I think it's just that quest for knowledge and learning, and we like to help people with their knowledge and learning. And so I've found that being a librarian is one of my favorite jobs I've ever had. This is the favorite job I've ever had, actually, because I'm still involved in the science. I'm very much involved in the science. Librarians love to help people troubleshoot and love to help people solve problems. That's what we do. And at the end of the day, they're not my problems. It's the other people's problems. So if I can't solve it, they still go away with having learned something, but I'm not the one that's frustrated. So I love this job. So if you have questions about medicine, any area of biology or chemistry, we can help you at the Countway Library, as well as the librarians on the Harvard side who are listed as the specialists in those areas. And we're happy. That's our job. We're happy to do it, and we get excited when we hear of interesting problems and interesting projects.